So hello everyone, this video is going to be about the atypical cases that you are getting in the semester, like the poisoning and the snake bite. So first we'll be seeing 4 types of poison and then snake bite, and after that we'll discuss how to present a case of poisoning or a snake bite. So first coming to the poisoning cases, so there are 4 types of poison. That is, first is organophosphorus, and the friend of organophosphorus is always carbamate. So the point number 1 is organophosphorus and carbamate. The second one is rat killer poisoning, that is zinc phosphide, that is used to kill the rats. The third one is sulfur poisoning, that is used in the rice grain that we are using, that is the sulfur poisoning. And the fourth one is corrosive poisoning. So let's come to the organophosphorus poisoning. So this organophosphorus, it is used like in the brinjal plants and all the vegetables that we are using. We use this poison, that is organophosphorus, and the friend of organophosphorus is, as we already discussed, carbamate. So this organophosphorus, it binds to the acetylcholine esterase site, that is esteric site. So there are 2 sites in the acetylcholine esterase enzyme. One is anionic and the other one is esteric site. And this organophosphorus, it binds to the esteric site of the acetylcholine esterase. So while it bound this acetylcholine esterase, they are gone. So what is the function of the acetylcholine esterase? This acetylcholine esterase, they break down the acetylcholine. So because the acetylcholine esterase has been degraded, so there is increase in acetylcholine, which leads in cholinergic crisis. That we all know dumbbells. D for diaphoresis, that is increase in sweating. U for urination. Then M for meiosis, means the eyes will be constricted. Dumbbell. B for blurring of vision, because of meiosis we will get a blurring of vision. Then L for lacrimation. E for emesis. And also the chief complication of this organophosphorus is there is intraalveolar accumulation of the fluids. So that is the most greatest complication. So we will be getting crepitation while you do the respiratory examination. So we have to prevent this alveolar accumulation of fluid inside this alveoli. The increased production of the smell like fluids in the tracheobronchial tree, that is the most important, because the patient can die because of this increased fluid inside this alveoli. So these are the symptoms of a organophosphorus poisoning. So now coming to how we should manage the case of organophosphorus poisoning. So the patient has come to us. The first thing we always manage is ABC. Any patient you are getting, you always answer it as A, B, C, that is airway, breathing and circulation. After you have stabilized the patient by the airway, breathing and circulation, you should now go for the gastric lavage. That is next is gastric lavage. In the gastric lavage, we will use some KMNO4 and you take some water bottle and use a gastric lavage tube. And you should do the gastric lavage, means all the poison that is there in the stomach, it will come out by the help of gastric lavage. So the point number 1 is ABC, the point number 2 is gastric lavage, and the point number 3 is specific antidote. So the specific antidote for the organophosphorus poisoning is, it is always atropine, and with atropine we are using pralidoxime. But in the case of carbamate, you remember only atropine is used. Pralidoxime is contraindicated in the case of carbamate poisoning. So repeating in organophosphorus poisoning treatment is, the first we should go for the ABC. Second, confirm the poison whether the patient has consumed it or not. After confirming, go for gastric lavage. After gastric lavage, go for atropine and pralidoxime. In carbamate, pralidoxime is contraindicated and rest all are same for carbamate poisoning. Now coming to the second poison, that is the rat killer poison. So this rat killer poison, this is a zinc phosphide, and this rat killer poison, it causes acute liver failure. Okay, I have forgot something in the organophosphorus poisoning. So the system that needs to be examined in organophosphorus poisoning is respiratory system examination, because there is accumulation of fluid inside the alveoli and we will be getting crepitation while the patient has come to us. So that is an indication to start atropine. So after we start the atropine like IV and a drip, we will be using the drip for the atropine. The signs of atropination are, the point number 1 is, remember 3 points are there. The point number 1 is dryness of the tracheobronchial tree, means there will be loss of crepitation and also loss of all the secretion inside the trachea. So the most important point is there should not be any crepitation. That is the first sign of atropination. The point number 2 is increase in heart rate more than 100, and the point number 3 is dilated pupil. We are getting constricted pupil, and after atropination we get a dilated pupil. So the 3 points in a case of atropination are, repeating it, this is very important and everyone is surely going to ask this thing. The point number 1 is there is a dryness of the tracheobronchial tree. Point number 2 is tachycardia more than 100. Point number 3 is pupil is dilated. phosphide. So these are the signs of atropination. Now let's come to the that is rat killer poisoning, that is zinc phosphide. This zinc phosphide, as I already told you, it causes acute liver failure. So once the patient goes into acute liver failure, there will be cerebral edema and the patient goes into hepatic encephalopathy. To prevent this complication of this zinc phosphide, we should go for N-acetylcysteine. The treatment is same, that is airway, breathing, circulation, point number 1. Then say point number 2 is confirm the poison, whether it is a rat kill poison or something else. Then point number 3 is go for the antidote, that is N-acetylcysteine. Though N-acetylcysteine is also used for paracetamol, it is also tried in this rat killer poisoning, and the rest symptomatic management should be done. So in this rat kill poison, because it affects the abdomen, we should go for the abdominal examination. So we should get that the abdomen is soft, non-tender, and there is no hepatomegaly and no splenomegaly, and there are no features of hepatic encephalopathy. We should tell like this in a case of the rat killer poisoning. Coming to poison number 3, that is sulfur poisoning, that is aluminum phosphide, that is used in the rice to kill the pest that is used, that destroy the rice. We use this sulfur poisoning. The sulfur is aluminum phosphide. This aluminum phosphide, it forms a phosphine gas, and this causes a cardiac destabilization. So that causes subendocardial hemorrhage. So because of this, the cardiac potential is destroyed and patient can land up in any type of arrhythmia. To prevent this complication, we should go for a drug named as magnesium sulfate that stabilizes the cardiac myocardium, and the treatment protocol is same as like all the poison, like airway, breathing, circulation. The point number 2 is confirm the poison. The point number 3 is go for magnesium sulfate, though it is not the drug of choice, still it is preferred. And this is all about aluminum phosphide poisoning, and the system that needs to be examined in aluminum phosphide poisoning is this cardiac system examination. And coming to poison number 4, that is a corrosive poisoning. So this corrosive is two types, one is acidic and one is alkali. So the phenyl poisoning patient that are coming, that the acid poison. So alkali is more dangerous because alkali penetrates more depth. Like if we are drinking a alkali and someone is drinking a acid, so this alkali, it penetrates more, it can cross all the layer of the GI tract. So this is more dangerous, and alkali can also be consumed in a large amount. So now coming to the how you should treat a case of this corrosive poisoning. So you remember, in a case of corrosive poisoning, gastric lavage is strictly contraindicated. So what are the points where gastric lavage is contraindicated? The point number 1 is corrosive poisoning, the point number 2 is kerosene poisoning, and the point number 3 is heavy metals poisoning. In these 3, you should not go for any type of gastric lavage. So in phenyl poisoning, the gastric lavage is contraindicated. The treatment protocol is already same, like airway, breathing, circulation, confirm the patient has taken or not phenyl or not. The point number 3 is you go for supportive care. Like if the patient is having dyspnea, we can go for some ventilator, and you can use fluid to increase the blood pressure, and no such treatment is available for phenyl poisoning, just supportive care. Now coming to snake bites. So in India we get 4 types of toxic snakes, that is common cobra, common krait, Russell viper and Sawscale viper. This common cobra and common krait, these two are neurotoxic snakes, and common as Russell viper and Sawscale viper, they are vasculotoxic snakes. So once you get a patient of snake bite, you should ask the patient which type of snake has bitten you, whether it is a common krait, common cobra, Sawscale viper, Russell viper. After you confirm it, we can know yes, it is a neurological snake bite, or it is a that is vasculotoxic snake bite. You must remember, in India most of the snakes are non-poisonous, so you should not worry much about the patient. And the point number 2 is, if the snake is also poisonous, it does not mean that snake has released the poison. So first we should see the patient, observe the patient, whether the patient is having any sorts of neurological abnormality or any vascular abnormality. So coming to neurotoxic snake bite. So because of neurotoxic snake bite, these snake toxins, that the venom the snake release, that goes to the neuromuscular junction and bind there. So this patient present just like about myasthenia gravis. So how to know that how the patient has presented with this snake bite, a neurological snake bite? The patient will having ptosis, like the eyes will be like this, he will be not able to open the eye. I will say the patient, "Aakhi kholo ma." The patient will not be able to open the eye. That is a neurotoxic snake bite, that is ptosis. And diplopia, and the patient will having a difficulty while swallowing, dysphagia, diplopia, dysphagia and ptosis, and also respiratory depression can occur in a case of neurotoxic snake bite. In a case of vasculotoxic snake bite, like the snake has bitten here, so there will be local reaction more in a case of vasculotoxic reaction, like there will be swelling and there will be thrombosis, there may also be gangrene, and there also may be AKI because of vasculotoxic snake bite. So once you get symptom in any type of snake bite, you should go for ASB. So that is polyvalent ASV we are using. This polyvalent ASV that is used in India, it contains 4 types, that is common cat, common cobra, Sawscale viper and Russell viper. Remember this thing. So we are using ASV that contain 4 types of antidote for all the type of 4 snakes. So don't use tourniquet and decrease the anxiety, and always, I have already told you, airway breathing circulation, and don't use any tourniquet, and stabilize the patient and relieve the anxiety and go for specific therapy, that is you can go for this ASB, and remember to do a clot retraction test. So this vasculotoxic snake bite, they can be anticoagulant, they can also be procoagulant. So you go for a clot retraction test. After 20 minutes, we see the clot, whether the clot has occurred or there is no clotting is there. So with this, these are all the things that you need to know about the poisoning and the snake bite. Now coming to how you should present a case of snake bite or any such type cases. Because these are some of the atypical cases. So how should present? So first, write name, age, sex, that you write, and you need not write to like cheap complaint, nothing you need to write. You just need to write that patient is a alleged case of, or like I'll be presenting a organophosphorus case. So patient is a alleged case of suspected organophosphorus poisoning on date, like today is 5th. So on 4th of January 2021 at 5 p.m. at his or her home. At her home after a fight or something like that, and as narrated by the patient relative, because these are the things you should get from the patient relative, because you should not ask the patient, because patient may be unstable. So you should write, I am repeating it how you should present. So patient is a alleged case of or suspected organophosphorus poisoning on 4th of January 2021 at 5 p.m. at the home. And now the patient is presented. So because the patient is a organophosphorus poisoning, the chief complaints of the patient would be like dumbbells. So you can write, say there is some sort of diarrhea, there is some sort of increased salivation or shortness of breath because of crepitation in the lung. So you have confirmed the patient is organophosphorus poisoning. And in the systemic examination, you can go for all system examination. So mostly you should write respiratory system examination, that is bilateral, vesicular, breath sound, nodded sound. So in your cases, there should not be absolutely no finding except for the tachycardia and dilated pupil. There will be no crepitation because we have already atropinized the patient. You will be getting a dilated pupil, that you should write in your paper, that is dilated pupil. And the point number 2 be the heart rate should be more than 100. In your case, it will be having surely because we have atropinized your patient. And in a case that like that, you should present these cases. All these cases you should present like that. This like I'm repeating it again because it is very important. Alleged case of like suspected organophosphorus poisoning on 4th of January 2021 and like 5 p.m. presented with by the patient relatives, and in examination we are getting this much only you should write. So this is all about poisoning and snake bite. Then apart from this, there is nothing you will be getting in the exam as far as I feel. And all the best. Thank you. Bye bye.